Good afternoon, everybody. Part 3 of the conspiracy theory and the trust in America and how slowly it's eroding because we never really truly get to the evidence and what truly the truth is of what happened. So then it erodes the minds of America and also the entire system and construct. And we slowly are just in a fog of war, literally, all day, every day, without ever really getting the truth. The media is part of the problem. But I was speaking in part 1 and 2 about how I even got into this. I was reading a lot of William Cooper's books and listening to some old interviews and radio talk show. He had a radio talk show, and I started to think about everything. And that's what I've been kind of doing the past month that I've been off of the videos. And once I start to study, is what I do, is I go all in. And it's kind of funny because I really I notice I have a lot of obsessiveness to myself, because once I see something, I know it's like, oh my God, this doesn't seem right. I have to get to the truth, and I go nonstop, and that's what I was doing. So when I was reading some of the William Cooper documentations, I really got into it. And I have so much writing that I've been doing, and I haven't been writing my book at all. I've been going down rabbit holes because I want to see where it's going to take me. And a lot of the times, just to let you know, I use a lot of my pattern recognition and my intuition. It's God-given. We all have it. It's whether or not you believe you have it, and then you're aware of it. And if you use it and you actually believe in yourself, and you believe, because see, this is another thing about conspiracy theory, is it takes you into the fog of war, never trusting yourself, never knowing who you are, always in self-doubt, of these shadowy events. You kind of see something, you go, that doesn't make a lot of sense what they're saying. But then you don't question it, because you begin to fall into the old, you know what, I trust in this person, therefore I'm going to let it slide and I'm going to believe them. When, remember, they're all getting paid to give us deception. I'm not talking about everybody, but I'll tell you, a lot of people, more people than you could imagine. And so it's kind of interesting. And so let's pick up on the William Cooper. And the part 2, how we let off was that we were at the part of the civil rights moment, and how that was a moment in the mind of America that we were told that they have every right and reason to have paranoia, and because they're out to get you. Remember, that's what William Cooper would say. They're out to get you. And that's what he said in his first chapter of his book, The Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. He said that. And so then there's another book that he wrote that was The Secret Government. And Cooper was looking at some of the reasons why people were being oppressed. and why he felt like a prisoner, even though he was, trying to do his own thing and what have you, but they still felt, the prisoners still kind of picked up on this stuff and felt that Cooper was correct on this. So if you ask certain people about Cooper's books, they always say this, and I think this is very, very important to remember. They say something along this line. Well, everybody in this world is getting effed. F-U-C-K-E-D. What William Cooper does is tell you who's effing you. When you're somebody like me, this is what they say. When you're somebody like me, that's a really significant thing. Now, there's two parts to this because, first of all, you have to look at self-image and you have to think highly of yourself. Now, are there things playing in the background to detour humanity? Yes, there is. And I hate to say this, but I think it was Altman or one of those people said that we don't have free will. Now, that's like, I don't truly believe in that, but there are some things I'm beginning to see in the world, I'm talking about the outside world, that are, well, we just found out about all of the rigged sports and gambling and the thing that you pay in each state with the lottery, and that they're all the lottery people that win are picked. Did you hear this? Are picked, and then it goes to the military industrial complex, and they give a little bit, couple pennies to the person, the name, and then it gets rerouted and washed. The money does. And it just, now, it's kind of weird to even talk about this, but the thing is this. The one aspect of your life that you have control of is you yourself. That's it. And that means this. Being kind. Being stable in your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings. Service to truth is number one. If you can't tell the truth, and you even try to confront somebody saying, you know what, isn't it time to be truthful? And they don't want to be truthful. You can't make them be truthful. I've done that recently, and it's never going to come out. But I mean, it's all right. Like it's okay. But I want to be truthful with the person, and they're not ready yet, which is fine. But you have to be truthful. See? And you can't be around people that aren't truthful, that don't live a life of truth, respect, kindness, loving, that have morals. Good Lord, good God. So that's what you have 100% control, even when not so good happenings happen to you. I know it's difficult at times to, something happens and then you have to, choose, I guess. How will you handle this? But you can always still choose how you handle things, right? So that's where I'm kind of like saying with the William Cooper, where was he a Richard Doty? And I explained that in the last two videos. Who worked for the Air Force for 35 years in the deception department. And he lied That was his job, to lie to us for 35 years. And he just came out and said it. Said that he worked and did that. So I don't know if William Cooper is that, but he did have he picked up on intuition or instinct or something. Maybe he saw when he was in the military and at the naval intelligence. I don't know. But he had these feelings that he said he never felt free. And it could be also the actual construct what we live in. Like von Braun said, the firmament. But I think more so than that, I think it's the installation. What's the installation? The installation is where, look at it like a simulation, you know, the Elon and everybody talks about it, simulation, and we're in the matrix, and things are already being constructed around humanity, like events, like we're going to have a shortage in this, and then we're going to have a war, and they're planning and plotting this stuff, you know, for humanity. You know, if you want to call them puppets, whatever you want to call them. I don't even know what to call them anymore, because to me it's a bunch of elites or cabal or whatever that have you know, they want to control. They're obsessed with controlling, and they've been doing it for thousands of years. And that's when I say the installation. That's an installation that has been, it's kind of like a narrative. The conspiracy theories, like they put that out there, they feed it to us, and then we bite and bring it in, and then we're like monkeys getting all mad about things and blah blah, you know, and then they're winning behind the scene, and then it's like here they have our fear activated, they have our minds in control of, you know, think this way. And they actually, what they're doing is they're creating realities. Whereas you can create your own reality of love and beautiful things, instead of getting wrapped up in the reality that they're creating for the global scope of everything. So that's you know, what I kind of want to throw out there before we go on with the William Cooper, because he had that feeling the whole, like most of his life, that he felt he wasn't free. He said, you know, like he saw things. So anyway, so let's move on. So almost 10 years later, after his book, what happened was he was reminded of, what was it? I'm actually, I didn't write this down. I'm trying to think because I wanted to say it. He said this, that everybody in the world, like I said, was getting effed, okay? But the problem with this, okay, if people believe you're getting effed, now let's say that there is a scenario that something happens. Right now, I could tell you some things that have been happening to me that are super bizarre. Like I look at it that there's some people who are 100,000,000% psychopathic, and they're completely unstable, and they say something to you that is like very thuggish. What it is if you don't have control of yourself and you threaten somebody, you're a thug. not only are you're a thug, but you are a psychopath. You have issues. You might have to go see a psychologist or do something like that, because threatening means something. It means that you're unstable. 100%, there's no way. I don't care if you ask the person, is your tenant stable? There's nothing wrong with asking a question like that. Nothing. But if you become the monkey and come unglued and then you throw out a threat, you're unstable. You are. You're an unstable sociopath. So when he says that about you're effed, in a lot of ways it can be used to put out false narrative and to, like, in some ways the Cooper, because he had a problem feeling that he was never free, and he saw things that weren't consistent in Vietnam and at the naval intelligence. He said it was completely off the wall. He said there was something totally not right and wrong about the scenario. It made him crazy. And I think a lot of people have the PTSD or whatever it's called. And this can bring out anger. It's called angst. That's what we say, like German people say that, angst. And there's an angst in people. And they can't control their thoughts, their feelings, or their emotions. And they once you threaten somebody with, like, let's say the boys club or something, that, like, you better be careful because he'll come for you, something like that, then you anybody that says that to you, you have to take serious. Remember with the Oprah's friend Maya, I think it was her name, she said, believe them. When they tell you something, believe them. And that's how I take things. Like, if somebody threatens you, you have to believe them. And then getting back to the Cooper, I think that's what happened with a lot of people that read the book that felt oppressed. They took it on a personal basis, and then they started to see things. And example, in the music industry, LL Cool J, he wrote a music video. It was called I Shot Ya. Remember when the hip hop started coming out? It was all about, they're coming for us and they're getting us, and they were talking about the Illuminati wants my mind. These were the lyrics. And then that they want my mind, my soul, my body, and the secret society keep their eye on me, and all these things. And it all got really, 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 really big. I remember it, and I would listen to the lyrics, and my ex-husband loved it. And because he was into the hip hop. And so all this stuff was learned in the William Cooper's books. And they all picked up on it. And it was also, the Behold the Pale Horse. It was all about the world of the Illuminati. And then in 1996, Jay-Z picked it up, and he was on the radio. That song was on the radio 24/7, remember? And it all traveled, like, through the culture and through all the movies. And once it travels through these types of avenues, it becomes the truth. And my reason for saying this is it becomes the truth, but is it the truth? Why I bring up the threat, what I explained to you, if someone threatens you, now that's real. And if you tape recorded them and you had a mic and a video on you, and you have that video and they're threatening you and telling you about this gang, I mean, that's proof. But if you're reading it versus reading it in a book, and then you pick up on it and it resonates with you, and then you start to live it, and it travels through all the avenues that it becomes a truth. Is it the truth? Because we can create and design our life, through books and movies and art. And we can make it real, but is it real? You have to always have the evidence. Now, I'm not saying that the construct is anywhere perfect. I think I'll be honest, I think we've been infiltrated on the inside, because I see things that, how you look at it is this way. This is how you look at it. Why are we invading people without evidence being presented? We have all these fog of war, Hamas, ISIL, ISIS. I mean, the changes, the names change, but, and the Muslims are the bad ones, and then the Chinese are the bad ones, and then Russia's been screwed for years. They've been in every movie that they're always the bad people. There comes a time that we have to dig deep inside of us and look at the truth and ask, where is the freaking evidence? That's why, you know what? I don't go outside the house without a camera and audio on, because for the past 3 years, because so many weird things have happened, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. Where I live, no. I mean, I've gotten the neighbor across the street, I filmed, yelling out, Karen, Karen, and I had to call the police. I mean, he doesn't even know me. And I think he has TD or something like that. And I believe that, honestly, I'm going to say this in respect to humanity. We already hit the mass psychosis, and we already hit the paranoia and the place where humanity isn't all well. And I mean this with respect, but it's now time. That's why I say sometimes, unless we're getting proof and evidence, and I'm not talking about setups like I read I think in the last video, where I think it was that part 2. If I didn't, let me hold on one second. I want to do this because this is important. I hope I didn't throw it away. Or put in the trash or something. Hold on, I want to do this. Just 1 second. Maybe I might have thrown it away. Might have. Anyways, it was about let me just see if I can find it, because it's very important. Okay, here it is. Okay, so Google AI fabricated entirely fake criminal history on this guy, Robbie Starbuck, I think. Yeah, Starbuck. And they created an entirely fake world, victims, therapy records. I got a story on that about the Brown University Health. I went to the doctors, and they put this drug on my record that I'd never taken before. It was a psychological drug. Like, I don't even take aspirin or Tylenol. My ex-husband will tell you. He used to get mad at me. I can't stand pills. I mean, I was out of the hospital before 24 hours. When I had brain surgery, they wouldn't let me go, and I fought to get out because I don't want tubes and stuff in me. I'm a freak about medicine and all that stuff. I don't take it. I had to call up and tell them, what is this on my, and something told me to look at my health records. And I was like, what's going on? I don't take that stuff. Where would you, I had to research it. And it came out of some office in Tiverton. And I was like, I never even been to Tiverton before. Anyways, they apologized. Anyways, I turned it into the health office and explained everything and took all the records and everything. I'm not gonna, and then I had calls coming from Block Island, and I would answer the phone. It said coming from Block Island, which is here. And then they would be talking to me about, the fat, the diet, what do you call it? The shots people take. I took that like once and I got violently ill, and I stopped it, but they were trying to get me to take something else. I said, well, who is this? I'm with Brown University Health. I said, but why are you calling from Block Island? How do I know I'm speaking to a professional from the, anyways, it kind of just fizzled out. And then it was like, all these calls were coming outside of the health, the Brown Health. And then I started to see a pattern that was like, something's wrong. Like first they put a drug I never prescribed to. And I don't take drugs. And when I looked it up, I was shocked. I called up everybody. Like I called up my family. I called up Quentin. I called up a friend of mine and told them about it. And then they said, call the health board and handed everything you have. And I did. Because you can't do that. You can't add stuff onto people's health record. This is private. I hope that they're listening too, because I'm not going to put up with that crap. But they did this to the Robbie Starbuck. And they fake court records, police records, relationships, and even a fake legacy media report. And they completely defamed him. Completely defamed him. It's unbelievable. But I've heard this lots. Look at, they've done it to everybody. They do it to people that they want to take down. These are the tactics that they use. So I think it's all very interesting. And this is why we're in a weird place right now. Really weird. On the Cooper's radio show, The Hour of the Time, set the stage. I believe this. This is what I believe. When he ended, the Alex Jones took over. Because I see it. I see the pattern. I'm an expert at pattern recognition. And I see it. As I look back, I see the future. Because it's the same thing. Pretty much everything that Alex Jones is talking about, it was on the William Cooper's radio. A lot of it. Yeah, a couple things, different, because we're now have different, conspiracy theories now going on. But that's what I believe. And then, the thing is that these big shows that are on now, and I know we all listen to them. We listen to the people we think are telling us the truth, right? That's what we do. We listen to the shows that we think we're going to get the truth, right? And they're very spellbinding. They're very good speakers, right? But a lot of the times, are we getting evidence? Because, like a movie. It's a movie. It's pretend. It's not real. It's a pretend movie. Okay, sometimes they say a true movie, but then they always have to spice it up a little bit, throw in a little bit of, hot sauce or whatever they do, to make you bite. So I always go back to, because the Cooper, he's kind of, to me, a little off stable, not all the way stable. And I'm not taking him down, because a lot of things are, it's important to look at. I like to listen to everybody, whether it's left, right, center, whatever, because this is how I'm able to have a good rounded viewpoint, and to be able to see with all that information I read, and I'm not saying I'm right by any means at all. I'm not saying, listen to me, I'm trying to throw out a different way of looking at things, because it's important. And at one time, Cooper said that Alex Jones was a liar and they were friends. I thought that was interesting. He said it on his talk show. And but then Alex Jones took pretty much all Cooper's voice and ideas, which I thought was interesting. But then Cooper, I'm going to play both sides. Cooper was he was paranoid. He never trusted anybody. And I found that to be interesting. But a lot of people are starting to be like that, because you start seeing things and it doesn't add up, and you're like, good God. That's why if you have really good friends around you that support you, and a good husband or wife and children, stay in that unit and keep keep the people that you can trust near you. It's very, very important. You want to do that, because it's important that you have stable people around you. But just another thing that I want to talk about Cooper is that he quoted a lot of, some of the quotes in the Behold the Pale Horse. He predicted school shootings, but that doesn't mean he was right. Because to predict school shootings, either there's two ways to look at it. Either he was part of the construct because he saw it. He saw that on the agenda, right? That they're going to start the school shootings for fear, right? Or one, he had premonition, intuition, instinct, okay? And this is something that you can't say, oh my God, he's a psychic. Maybe he saw something in intelligence that it was on the agenda of the, like example being the 2030 agenda right now. If you read the fine print, it'll scare the shit out of you. And if you read just the points, it sounds good. We're going to feed all the hungry. But then if you go down, oh my God, digital ID, you won't get food. You won't have access to your money. Oh, it's dirty. It's nasty. It's a way to control all of us. So he supposedly, it was written in the book. He talked about the school shootings. He talked about the excessive prescription drugs like Ritalin to the young children, which it happened. Almost everybody puts their kids on that stuff. And the Adarin or something like that, I don't know, but I know somebody that has 4 nephews, and they're all on, there's 3 of them that are on it. Probably now the other one's on it. I don't know. But they're all on the drugs. at a very young age, and now they're hooked and they're screwed, you know? And he predicted this. What I believe is he saw something in intelligence that was part of the program, and that he saw, maybe, like, example, in the New York Times, 6 to 8 months prior to 9/11, it was talking about if the towers come down. A lot of people read that, and a lot of people picked up on it and said, what about the towers? Why would they talk about the towers? Are they dangerous? You know, like, people were saying that. Now, you could read that 6 to 8 months prior, and you could say this: do they know something about the towers coming down? Like, you can make stories around that, right? That's what I think Cooper did. He saw something in intelligence. He was at the Naval Intelligence, or wherever he was at, whatever intelligence. Let's not say the Naval. I mean, I'm just saying that because that's what he said, that he went to the Naval Intelligence. Could be any intelligence, CIA, who knows? And he must have seen it, and then he piecemealed it together, like, this is really what they're talking about. So, and then when he had said this, a lot of people attacked him, and then this became a conspiracy theory. And the way that the world kind of works is, once the idea is formed, and you have, let's say, 1 million people, they pick up on it, and that idea is an energy, and it forms something, and it could be an event. Because if you have enough people talking about it and thinking it's going to happen, it may happen. And I know a lot of people don't understand that, but this is how the universe works. We are creators to our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. And this is the key. And I'm going to be talking a lot about this after this video. But I got to get, because I'm already at 38. So this was being pushed. And what I believe is something so big, that in the human psyche, that we all need to take responsibility for these psyops being thrown at us in every avenue, whether it's cabal, school, military industrial complex, government, whatever that is, because it's very dangerous, and we have to take responsibility for it. And we also have to have, like, example, the Sandy Hook, we have to be responsible because people did die. You understand? I mean, you can't just start saying that it was, full blown. Maybe, I don't know, but, like, it was a lie. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird for someone to say that. Don't you think? Like, I don't know. It's kind of like looking at Charlie Kirk and saying he didn't die. He never died. That that was all a show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. Like, I saw that online. Somebody said that. And they're trying to create another conspiracy theory about him not really dying. Just like the JFK Jr. He never died. We've never gotten any proof that he didn't die. Or, that he's alive, that he's living right now. But anyways, it kind of all goes back to the Q and the QAnon scenario. And, you've got people, I thought that was real, but now I saw something. And I saw it had a deep state feel to it. And I reread all the drops this past month because I was like, you know what? Because some of the things seemed real. So, like, there were things like on there that seemed to kind of could be true, but then I saw something. And then I realized I'm not sure, because anytime they ever say sit back and enjoy the show, like we the people are the ones to make the change. Not this showboating over here. Sit back and enjoy the show. We've got you. That's what we've been doing forever. Sitting back and watching the government gobble us up with our taxes, 65% taxes we pay. You think that that's sitting back and enjoy the show? Is that it doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense. It's a bunch of BS. And we're going to war, and we're killing all these people, these little kids, because they're Hamas. You don't know that? And, you know, and over here we're killing Syrians and now Lebanon. I used to work with a person that was from Lebanon, Nada. She's the sweetest human being on the face of the earth. And I ended up calling her about all this. And I couldn't believe what she told me. And she said, it's all a lie what they're saying. They're making everything up. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but what she told me, that's when I was like, you know what? I can't believe pretty much anything. I have to find proof, and I have to find evidence. And the evidence with all these wars don't make sense. And I'm sorry, but they don't. And I'm not for it at all. I'm not for the Gaza Strip. I'm going to put that on record. I'm not. I'm for people that want the world to be good. I mean, you know, to respect one another. I don't want to see a whole culture fall, anybody's culture. You know, like we have to be good to one another, right? Don't we have to do that for once? You know, like people are nuts. Like I heard a kid wanting to call out all the bunnies to be killed to his people, to his followers. I thought, this guy's nuts. And then, you know, his boyfriend hates animals. He was like saying it all the time on Twitter. I hate animals. Anybody that hates animals is a beast. They're the demon. I mean, think about it. Why would you hate an animal? What did they do to you? You feel about this small, don't you? And then these people, all they talk about is boomers. I don't care that I'm a boomer, but that's all. It's all the boomers' fault. Even my ex-husband used to say that, but he's listening to the news because he's brainwashed too. It's not the boomers' fault. And then there's other people that talk about the adult. You know, stop it. You're part of the divide and conquer, and that's all that you are. And you still don't get it. You still think that you're highly intelligent, but yet you're dividing us. And that's not going to go anymore. You're not going to get away with it. No one wants to be around people that want to divide and want to kill animals. It's psychopathic. You're a psychopath. So basically, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm at 45. And I mean, I have a lot more, but it's not even important because it's about the simulation. But who gives a shit about the simulation? In a lot of ways, there's only one thing that we can do. And that one thing is called taking responsibility for yourself through thoughts, feelings, and actions, and being stable. A stable human being that doesn't threaten people because you get worked up over a question or somebody cuts you off, or you see something and you come unglued and you can't control yourself. You can't depend on other people to fix it. You have to fix yourself first and come at a level. And when I say intelligence, I'm not talking about going to an Ivy League school and how many books you can read as fast as you can. And you know, I've read this many books and I'm this smart and I have a high IQ. Who gives a rat's ass? I'm talking about intelligence, the source of intelligence. Your mind, the center of yourself. You need to center yourself into the most high frequency that brings peace and brings love and kindness and love thy neighbor and not go after people. You don't do that. That is not right. And you don't do crime. There's not, you know what it is that if you're doing crime, then you have something wrong with your brain. And you look at society in a absolute, like, there's not enough to go around, so we got to go and do crime. We got to get them. We got to go gamble. We got to go and, you know, cut them up. Good God. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's so simple too, because it always comes back to self. It's called self-realization. I'm seeing it more, maybe because I'm getting older, and I'm seeing that kind of all of the games and stuff like that they don't mean anything. Because really, when you look at all of that, it's the psyche, your psyche that you are responsible for, that you control, whether you get a freaking flat tire and it pisses you off, or this person, you know, pisses you off and calls you a liar or whatever. Sometimes you just have to let it go. And you have to say, okay, fine. You think I'm a liar? Fine. And take the high road, because they're really spirit killers when they don't support you. And so you just let it be, move on, and don't even look back. But that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. It's almost 50 minutes. This is the third part. And I just want to make sure here that I got everything. I didn't go through even, I would have had to do another part 4 really. So, but I'm not even going to get into any of this because there's a lot on the horizon, and I'll get into that. I did a whole surveillance episode. Actually, I think it's divided up into 3, which I'm going to do. And I also did a Gurdjieff episode, which I'm going to explain. I think I'm doing it on 4 different characters and what he says, and it's about the human psyche and how 4 different people have these scenarios going in, different scenarios going in each one of the people, scenarios in their life. And how did they handle it? And what was the outcome? And it's very interesting. I think it'll help a lot of people to look at their own life. And then Peter Thiel came out saying that we're in stagnation and that we've lost the physical realm, that we're no longer growing. And I thought about that too, and I did an episode on that, because we're no longer going to be in the physical. We're going to a metaphysical realm, which is, this isn't about industrial complex anymore and building war machines and chopping people up and going over and flattening people's land. We're not doing that anymore. We're going into a peaceful realm that is no longer about the physical. We're growing as humans, and it's about our mental state. And we have to make this leap. It's a generational leap. I don't care if you're a baby boomer down to an infant. We're all doing it together. And until you realize that, then you're just one of them that wants to try to stop the growth of humanity. And what the true growth is realizing who we really truly are. We're creators. And I'd like to wrap it up. Thank you guys very much. And I'll see you. I don't know which episode I'm going to do, because I've written 20 episodes. So I still have to film them and then do that. So I don't know which one I'm going to do next. I'm going to decide and kind of meditate on it, which one I should do. So anyways, thanks. Godspeed. And I love you all. And be stable, okay? Be stable. Seek kindness. Yes, there's some jackasses out there, but you know what? Just turn around. They're hurting. People that are hurting hurt people. And that's what I'm starting to realize. Like, a lot of people, I think, need to pull their crap together. Like, they're psychopaths. So just be loving. And I'll see you on the next episode. Godspeed.